So the next area that we're going to examine in this session is collaboration, and it's basically how you work with others within Yellowfin. So to start out with, there are a range of areas that you can apply comments to. And each major type of content is one of those. So you can create a comment on a report, on a storyboard, on a dashboard. Alternatively, you could apply it to an individual timeline. So you could go to your team member's timeline and put a little comment there saying, have you done this? Or what was the answer to this question in the meeting, or whatever you need to put, and they'll be notified. So you can comment anywhere you like, as long as you have permission. And comments can actually contain a range of different items. So they can contain links to reports, dashboards, and storyboards. They can also contain links, as in sort of URLs to external pages. They can contain files that you can upload, videos that you can link to and embed, or screenshots and images. So what we'll have a look at now is adding a comment. So on the right hand side we'll see this comments panel, and you'll see this in various places throughout the system. So if I open that, it actually opens what we call our activity stream. And if I go to my comments area here, I can add a comment. And I can say, has anyone? So maybe my comment is something about the content that I'm seeing. So it might be something like, I don't really like the image that someone's used when they created this particular slide. I don't think that's good. Maybe we can change it. So there's my little comment. Now I can add an individual report, dashboard, or storyboard if I want to, which will just mean that people can click on the comment and then directly click to get to the report or item. I could add a link, but what I actually want to do is add a screenshot, and we'll revisit this in a moment, but basically this will allow me to take a screenshot of what's happening on the screen now, which Yellowfin is doing for me now, and then I'll be able to crop that and annotate it. So what I'll do is I'll just say, look, I'm concentrating on this particular image here. So I'm going to say, I don't like this one. Okay, so I've cropped that down. So this is my resulting image. And what I can say is, look, I really don't like this being in the screenshot. And I can even put a little sad face if I want to, and put some text, but that's probably enough. So I'll save that, and Yellowfin will save it for me and actually attach it to my post. Now I can also secure this if I want, so I could just restrict that, say, to my administrative team, or maybe I'll just save it and assign it to me, or I could leave it public, which means anyone that can see this particular storyboard can see the post. And I could vote, but I won't, so we'll submit that. And there's my comment. And if I click, I can see my screenshot. Okay, so comments are really useful when it comes to collaborating with users on content, especially when you're creating content or designing it. So you're putting together some requirements for someone that's going to create the content for you. And this can be a really good way of kind of reviewing that and discussing it. So next we'll have a look at timeline. Again, we did have a look at this already, but basically it's an event feed and it contains comments. It contains any discussion posts that you'll have. It also contains all of the content activity that you'll have. And you post on it exactly the same way as we did here. Next we have discussion streams, and these allow you to collaborate with other users by posting threads and streams of comments. So you can have little conversations in your discussion stream, as well as make decisions and create tasks and things like that. So someone, generally speaking, it might be a team leader or an administrator, but it could be anyone, will create a discussion stream, and they'll pick a particular topic or department or purpose, and then you will go in there and post your thoughts and respond to others. Next, we have discussion lists, and this is just a different layout for the discussion stream, and this discussion stream shows all posts and content like an event feed, so very much like the timeline. But the discussion lists group items into categories and lists. And it's just a way of sort of creating little to-dos and progress lists and things like that. And we'll explore those shortly. Then we have tasks, and basically a task can be assigned to a user, and you can request that they create content, delete content, check the data of a report, or even do something that's external to Yellowfin. So you can create a little task, and the user can then place it into in progress state. They can complete the task. They can respond to you, so they can ask questions and you can reply. And then finally, you can review that they've completed it correctly and you can close the task. So it's just a way of getting things done and making notes within the system. And next we have the activity stream, which we just glimpsed earlier. And basically, you have an activity stream for each piece of content. So this storyboard has an activity stream, my dashboard does, my reports do, and it's like a little event feed for the piece of content you're looking at. So it'll give you all of the events related to that content based on, who created it, who edited it, any comments have been made, and so on. And it just gives you a lot of information. So if we open up our activity stream here, you can see, okay, I don't have much activity, but I can load older activities and see if there's anything. So this particular storyboard hasn't had much happen to it, but when we go to something like the dashboard, you'll see different activity. So you get a different idea of what you can access. We can also access the details relating to this particular topic. So I can see what's going on there. And I can see the community. Now at the moment this storyboard has only been accessed by me, so we're not listing anyone here, but I can also see things like comments and such. So if I close that. Alright, so the next thing we'll have a look at is report annotations, and this is a way to add little notes directly onto the data. So you'll see here that we've got a little note about a marketing campaign, and what we've done is assign that to a specific, you assign it to either a specific individual point in time, so a date, or a date range, so maybe it was an event that occurred for a week. And what happens is Yellowfin can show that event anytime that date or date range appears in a chart. And it's just there to give you a little bit of context as to why there might be a spike or a dip in the data, or a little bit of context as to what was going on in that point of time. So when you're reviewing a report, you can remember, oh, okay, well, look, this sales, there's quite a spike here, why is that? And then you remember, oh, we had that marketing campaign on, how successful was that? Maybe we have to repeat that, and so on. And finally, we have screenshots, which we've just had a look at when we created our little comment. But basically, like I said before, it allows you to take a screenshot of anything you see, any piece of content you see within Yellowfin, make a note on it, and then use it for a task or a post. And it's really good to show something at a point in time. So if you had an issue with the data, maybe you didn't see today's sales in your sales report, you could take a screenshot and send it to your administrator, and they could then review it for you. So I'm just going to leave my storyboard again and we're going to have a look at a couple of those items. So we've had a look at comments and timeline, but what we're going to explore now are streams. So in my left navigation here, I'm going to explore streams and I'm going to access one that I've been to before. If you don't have any streams that you're a member of, you can join them through the browse page. So I'm a member here and we've got a little bit of discussion going on. And what you can see is there are some posts around training material and things like that. So if I want to, I can add a post, which is just like adding a comment. Alternatively, I could open an individual task or comment and respond to that. Or I could start my task. I could look at this one and add a reply and so on. And what we're going to do now is actually change the layout to look at discussion lists. And if I have a look at these, what you'll see here is we've actually got all of those same posts and tasks, but we've actually grouped them into lists that we've created. So in my training area, I've got a list for the wiki that we need to update. I've got information around webinars. I've also got information around videos and so on. So I could create a new list if I want to, and I might call it classroom. And I can pick a colour. Alright, so there's my classroom list, and what I could do is move an item over to that list. I'm just going to put this back in videos because that's where it belongs. But basically this lets you categorize all of the events that are occurring within your stream. Alternatively, you can follow along if it's a process. So you might have to do, you might have in progress and then complete, and move items along as they progress. But it's just a nice way to manage the occurrences within a stream. And finally, we can actually look at task management. So I can actually see, look, these tasks have been created. And we'll see all of the tasks. And I can see, okay, they're all at the assigned stage, but maybe I could start some of those. So I've got a task here that I could set to in progress. And you can see that's been updated and that's assigned to me. And then as I complete the task, I can change the status again, and the person who created it can finalize that for me. So there's a few different things you can see when you're on your stream.